First of all, thank you for tuning in to Entonce and Entonce.com and also on YouTube. Like, subscribe. I want to discuss an important topic that has recently been on my mind and is making the news nationally and all over the world. The violence in Chicago. It's out of hand, right? It's crazy. Everybody knows about it. Little girls getting shot. 7-year-old gets shot 6 times. It's insane. A mother gets shot going home from church in the back of the head. What the heck? It's sick and sad what's going on. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's ugly. It's dirty. It's bad. So I want to talk about that, all right? Violence has been going on in Chicago for years, right? This is nothing new. Al Capone, that's why he got famous. I mean, that's what they show in the news and all the movies. But this is really happening. And it's out of control, right? So we're in war. Some wars are against men. Some wars are against ourselves. Some wars are against the injustices going on and the evil pathogens, right? That's why we're all wearing a face mask in Chicago to protect us. However, I feel like sometimes you need a tank out here, a bulletproof vest, even a helmet, and even a chastity belt in some neighborhoods in Chicago. That's how bad things are out here. As a Hispanic male, I grew up in the barrio. I can personally identify with the type of environment in which many of you guys are growing up in. With that being said, I was born and raised in Chicago and grew up in the Home Park area, way before gentrification, all before the lattes and people walking the dogs. I grew up before all that. I grew up in a working class community. However, it was also a gang-infested war zone with shootings occurring every night. As many of you already know, this country is more divided than ever, politically, racially, economically, and especially in Chicago, where every community is different financially and culturally. So there's a whole bunch of division going on, right? But let's talk about what causes most of the violence in Chicago. It's gang culture. Gang culture in Chicago isn't a fashion statement. Our murder rate equals that of New York and LA combined, both cities put together. Unfortunately, gang culture is a way for life for some. So with that being said, some neighborhoods in Chicago are war zones. There's a lot of conflict, a lot of shooting going on. Is half of the Russian conflict with Ukraine, and they have rocket launchers, tanks, AK-47s, Uzis, Tech-9s. They have the whole shebang. They're in a full-scale war, and our murder rate is like almost half of theirs in the last 10 years. It's insane. So this is a huge problem, and this is how incredibly violent Chicago is. I love Chicago, but we have our issues. I got to talk about them, right? It's making headlines. I got to talk about them. So we live in an incredibly beautiful yet violent city, right? I was able to stay on the straight and narrow because I was blessed with constant guidance and leadership. And for the most part, I've actually listened. When I was growing up, my parents were about to buy a huge house. I was like a mansion, right? However, things changed. My parents got divorced, and I was back in the hood. 1 block away from my grandparents. So in total, I was fortunate enough, blessed from God to have 4 parents. My mom and dad, and sometimes my grandparents. No, I was not a perfect child. No, I'm not a perfect child, right? However, my mom kept me in line. Yeah, she introduced me to that chancleta. Oh, she used to hit me with the chancleta, the belt. I mean, she'll throw anything at me, my mom. But, she kept me in line, though. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's tough love. It is what it is, my dad, he kept me busy as well. When I was outside one day, walking outside my Home Park area, with my new Air Jordans and sunglasses, which my dad purchased me. Let me tell you, he wasn't a rich dad, right? But however, he wanted to show me that he loved me. Because when he grew up, he grew up with holes in his shoes. He grew up in poverty. There was like 6 or 7 of them, brothers and sisters. He came from a big family, right? And when they first came here, their experiences was way rougher than ours financially, right? Holes in the shoes, like extreme poverty, right? They paved the way for us. And they went through things too with race and all sorts of issues they occurred. They seen, even they got tons of stories, right? That's a whole different movie, right? So yeah, my dad, he bought me those shoes and the glasses, and I was outside, playing around as a kid out in the street, and I got my ass kicked outside for no reason at all other than being the flyest kid on the block, right? My mom noticed that I got my ass kicked, right? Came home with a big lip. She said, "What happened? Yo, some kid hated on me, kicked my ass." So she said, "Go back out there, fight that dude again. Whoop his ass. This time I'm going out there with you." And I did. I got it on. Boom, boom. Hit him with a left. A right. Uppercut. Another left. Boom, 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 boom. Bing, bing, bing. We're going at it, and boom. I got hit with it. I think it was at the right to the temple, and I went down. And I got my ass kicked again, right? With that being said, my mom decided it was a good idea for me to go to karate school. Hapkido class. Mr. John Perez's Hapkido class. She said not to be intimidated by a gang, and make sure that I was a real man with big balls and knew how to protect myself, So she kept me in line, right? So I joined Mr. Perez Hapkido. I fought every day there, sparred with everybody. Bing, 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 bing. Learned, you know, a punch. You could take a punch, you know what I'm saying? And know how to give one. I learned how to fight there. And that helped me for life because in life, every day is a battle, mentally and spiritually, right? My dad wanted to send me to an all-boys school that some of my cousins went to on my dad's side because he said it's very peaceful there and, you know, all that stuff. I was like, no, Dad. No way, Jose. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to this high school, the high school I wanted to go to, a high school that all my classmates went to. It was up in Kelvin Park High School. I went over there. You know, my dad, he gave me freedom of choice, but it was a structured choice. He was trying to keep me, you know, out of trouble and all that other stuff, right? So knowing that, I stayed out of trouble. I respected my dad. He was a working man, you know, and I respected him. He was a great dad. A religious man and working man, right? And my mom, she was like an artist and very just a powerful individual. My mom, you know, she was very stern, you know what I mean? Her way or the highway. So I had two great parents, and my grandparents, oh my God, they were awesome too. My grandfather was just really wise, biblically wise, and just a wise man. So was my grandma, highly educated, right? These people were amazing. So I had four parents technically. So my dad kept me, you know, he kept me grounded, right? A few years later, with all the violence going on in the community, my mom was scared. She was scared of what was going on. There was bodies dropping left and right, you know, they were shooting everybody up there. Anybody outside, if you fit the description, you got shot. So it was insane. With that being said, she wanted to send me to the Army because she knew she thought the Army was safer than the hood. So they came to my house, the Army. Because at that age, they could sign you away to the Army. Your parents can. They could do that. I told her, no, Mom, you know, the Army isn't for me. I'm gonna make it. You know, I'm gonna go to university, college, and I'm gonna do my own thing. You know, I'm a smart guy. I'm not gonna just, no offense to the Army, but I'm not just gonna do what they tell me to do. Because when you go up to the Army, you gotta do what they tell you to do. They tell you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, brush your teeth, wash your ass, and go shoot that rifle. That wasn't for me. I respect that stuff, and that wasn't for me. You know, let's put it that way. I had different visions in my life. So she said, yeah, okay, just make something out of your life. So I said, nope, I'm gonna make something out of my life, Mom. I'm gonna do something great. And I did. And that's why I love my mom, unconditionally. I love her. I love her to death because she kept me on the straight and narrow and really helped push me to find amazing things in life, right? With all this violence going on, all I know is that nothing good comes from being outside in these Chicago streets, especially at night, right? When you're on these streets at night, it's a different world, right? All the zombies are outside, right? A lot of bad stuff goes on at night in Chicago, right? For some reason. But stuff is occurring even in broad daylight nowadays, but most of it happens at night, you know? And nothing good comes from being in the gang, which often leads to drug use, which often leads to joblessness, homelessness, jail time, and being shot and killed. I mean, that's what comes from that, right? Yet for some sick reason, that life is glamorized on the radio, the internet, and TV. And that's the main light Hollywood portrays brown people and black people, right? They glorify all that stuff. I don't know why. It's sickening, but that's all they glorify, right? You hear it on the radio. These guys are saying the same thing. Oh, I'll shoot you. I'm the biggest hustler in the world, and I'm doing all sorts of drugs. It's all they play. Repetitive. It's all they play on the radio. It's sickening. I can't even listen to the radio when I'm with my kids in the car. I can't even listen to it. It's just the same stupid messages all day, right? I'm a music guy. I love music. My mom was a musician. My brother, music and art runs in my family, but some of this stuff is just getting sickening already. I mean, you got 50-year-old rappers talking the same stuff. Like, grow up already, man. It's ridiculous. So if you love guns, why not be a stressed out police officer, right? You could be, I mean, cops get paid decent, but they're stressed out. That's the bad side of it. But they get paid good, and they get to retire early, and they get a pension, all that good stuff. So be a cop, right? Or join the Marines, right? The CPD runs the streets, guys. So if you want to join something, join the CPD Army, right? That's what's happening, man. Last year, the CPD recovered over 10,000 illegal firearms on these apocalyptic, zombie-filled streets. Over 10,000 firearms. Like, that's why I was saying this is a war, because I'm not just saying this is a war. The numbers speak for themselves, all right? This is insane. That's what's on these streets. I mean, amongst other things, right? Amongst all these dangerous, dirty drugs that people are doing and dying, ODing, and all sorts of sick stuff that's going on out there. But they recovered over 10,000 illegal firearms on these apocalyptic streets. That's sickening. People are driving around with machine guns, right? Don't give the police or anybody a reason to shoot you, all right? Be smart. Use your brain. Be in a clear state of mind, a righteous state of mind. And more than likely, it won't happen. It could happen, but the odds are in your favor, right? Because these guys are marksmen out here, and all they do is playing video games, all right? So be smart. And as a matter of fact, brown and black on black violence is 100 times worse than police violence against us. So we gotta educate these kids to not give police or other people a reason to harm us, right? And avoid bad influences. So what I'm saying is that there is a war between good and bad out here, mentally and spiritually in Chicago and in the world. And us as parents have to push our kids and help them, right? We need to help them. Keep them active with positivity and righteousness. Be real with them. Be organic with them. And lead by example, right? How are you going to tell your kids not to do drugs when you have drug issues yourself, right? These streets are taking too many of our kids and taking their souls, right? Taking their souls, I never forgot where I was born and raised. Yeah, I made something out of my life, but I never forgot where I was born and raised. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone's going to be so lucky to grow up in Naperville, Winnetka, Skokie, you know what I'm saying, some Chicago suburbs out here. Nor does everyone have piano class on Monday, ACT test prep on Tuesday, learning Mandarin on Wednesday, and Bible study on Friday, right? Not everybody's so lucky. Back to me. What kept me out of trouble is that I had God in my life, 4 parents, and some great teachers. Rest in peace, Grenage. Miss Grenage was one of my high school teachers. She wrote in my yearbook, Robert, wake up before it's too late. I was already woke, but, I woke up even more, right? I am woke. God bless your soul. I know the news is not easy to watch. It's disturbing and disgusting, but that's really what's going on these days, But no community is perfect, right? So with that being said, stay away from bad influences and put God first. Hopefully these tragic deaths are not in vain, and this horrible news shines a light to what's going on and what it's like in growing up in these war zones in Chicago. These wicked streets want to take our children's souls. It's horrible. These gangs are destroying our own people. It's sad. You can still be a real man without having to succumb to some of these peer pressures. Do right in life. We all know right from wrong. Figure that out. God bless, and prayers to all those who lost a life in Chicago for nothing. For nothing. God bless. Thank you for tuning in to Entonce.